Together we have clarity, direction, and success way beyond what we ever previously thought possible. Here's your host, Frankie Lee.
Welcome back to the Frankie Lee podcast. Today, guys, we have another barnstorming treat for you. We have the man himself, Mr. Troy Candy. Now, this man here has not only set up Candy Motorsports and blown that up in 2 states and across Australia, but he's also the creator and inventor of the Snorkel, which has been a bit of an eye opener across Australia, mate. Like, how did you get into obviously creating that for a start?
Yeah, so pretty much like I followed this dude, William Cribb. He's in New Zealand, and he was like drinking. Like every time we do a drink, he'd just hold it up vertical, and he was calling it the Snorkel. And then it was just like a thing, like everyone just would do it and sort of tag him. And then I started posting it here, and then I did it on Australia Day, and then everyone started doing it. And then it was funny because, like, I don't know, it ended up in like Australia Day party and Daily Mail like write-ups on it about like just like partying, and then they mentioned the Snorkel and shit, and we were just laughing like how funny, like in 2 days it literally went viral, and like I was getting tagged in thousands of Snorkel videos and shit. And then anyway, this kid sent me a video of him, like he did a bong and drank the water, and I was like, "What the fuck?" But then I watched it again. I'm like, "Fuck! Look how quick the drink went down." Yeah. And I realized like the bong hose must have let air in to like get it out. I was like, "What the fuck?" So I started like just looking up bits and pieces, and pretty much found sort of something like that, but it was pretty much a bong, but just got rid of all like the cone piece and all that, and then just changed it literally just to go on and then drink, and then just kept refining it and shit until it worked mad. And then
I mean, we're going to talk about this later on in the podcast, and obviously you've gone and created this, and obviously got it manufactured and created a massive business out of this. Yeah. And that's the first thing that obviously put you on my radar to get you on the podcast. Yeah. So I just wanted to obviously get you a little bit of an explanation at the start about that before we obviously. And I said to myself, okay, if this is what this guy does and he's created this and it's gone massive, it's like I want to find out a bit more about you and find out about how he started and all the journey of it. Yeah. Because obviously you got started in Melbourne just like tinkering with cars and messing about with them in your mum's garage, right? But how did you build that into what became like Candy Motorsports? Like, how did that all come about?
Pretty much just I've always been into cars since I was a kid, so naturally just found myself playing around with cars. Pretty much just turned into like me learning. I had to learn to do the shit myself because I kept getting defects from police for like say too low or too loud, and then I kept paying people to change the suspension, change the wheels, change the exhaust. Then I change it all back, and then I get defected. Then I'd bring it back, and I was like, fuck, can't keep like paying for this. So my old man was a mechanic, so he just showed me how to do it, and then started into mates just sort of saying, hey bro, can you clear my defect? Like change my wheels, change it. So that's all I used to do, is just clear people's defects. Like they just pay me to like, and then I end up leaving like standard wheels, standard exhaust, standard springs. I had it. Yeah. So then when they got defected for too low and all that, I'd just be like, yeah, I got the springs, I got some standard wheels, bang it all on. They'd go change it and then take it back. And then I was like just doing that for ages, lowering and raising cars and doing that. And then on the side, I started, because I accumulated so many spare parts and shit, just started getting like cars that were cheap, and then I just slam it, chuck some rims on, and then put it back on like Gumtree.
Yeah. Spinning cars, like just literally like flipping them, yeah? Yeah,
just buy them, sell them, like ones that I knew were like half decent and cheap, and then I know I could make them look sick, and then people just buying them. And then pretty much doing that, saving money. I was doing like obviously lowering people's cars and that for like just cash flow weekly in between like selling cars.
So when you started doing this, did you, from the moment like you were tinkering around in your mum's house, have you always done this as like something for a swaps you like time for money doing it kind of thing? Is it something that you always started with, was cars, or did you ever have a job previously?
So at the start I wasn't even charging people. I was just doing it for my mates just to help out, or I'd say get me a slab or whatever, and then they'd get like, I got to a point where I had like 20 slabs. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have to start, like, just tell them, give me like $50, you know?
Yeah.
But before that, I was in like graphic design and working at Autobarn, selling car audio gear.
I've never pictured you as a graphic designer. Like, I never would.
Yeah, no, I loved it. Like, it's come in real handy. I still use Photoshop, Illustrator, all that, make my logos, and always editing flyers and doing shit like that. So it did come in handy. It wasn't a waste. And then I went into Autobarn, and I was working at Hog's Breath Cafe in the kitchen. I can't cook for shit, but just cleaning dishes and I don't know, just trying to look busy.
I can't imagine you actually doing much in the kitchen.
Yeah,
like, I can't imagine you were the most productive worker.
No, not in the kitchen, that's for sure. And then Autobarn was alright because it was around cars, so at least I had like
you had an interest in it. Yeah.
I was just selling car audio and stuff. Anyway, then moved into the flipping cars, doing that. Got to the point, too many cars in the driveway, mum cracking it, parts everywhere. She's like, sort of go get a factory that you can do it from. And then I didn't want to do it because I was like, I was too much stress, and like I never did business courses, wouldn't even know what GST was back then. Like,
and how old were you at this point?
Shit, I would have been maybe 20.
20, yeah.
But I don't know, I ended up just having a massive think about it, and I found like this cheap as job was like $250 a week, and I was like, fuck, if I just do at least just a few jobs.
One car, yeah.
I know I can like pay rent. So then, I just went in and did it, needed to think of a business name, and me and my mates made the Candy Motorsports like door banners for our cars before it was even a business. We just wanted something cool down the
side of the door,
just for like our little group sort of thing. And I was like, fuck, I may as well just use that, like everyone loves the name and stuff, so registered the business, made a Facebook page. So that year I got in at Facebook when it was peaking. There was no such thing as algorithms and shit like that. There was no such thing as sponsored
You just had
ads.
organic reach. Yeah.
So the page blew up to like 50,000 followers in like first year, I think. And I had to get out of that factory, move into a bigger one, and went to Dandenong. And then, like that first year was crazy. Learned so much about business. Learned so much about marketing, had heaps of trouble with like the police, with like hanging out the front of the shop and like defecting minor customers' cars, and like just heaps of drama. So I left Carrum Downs, went to Dandenong, sort of start fresh. And then I was in that factory for a year and then outgrew that. So then went to another one in Dandenong. That was a lot bigger, newer premises. And then we started, just growing the team, making bigger and bigger. And then 2015, I think, we went back to Carrum Downs in like a really big new facility, which is what we're still currently in. That was a huge move because it was just like, well over the budget, and it was, at the time I thought it was massive, like we'll never fill it.
When you say over the budget, what kind of money were you chucking out then?
It was like $6,000 a month.
Yeah, it's a big commitment, isn't it? For a commercial premise plus staff, you know.
Yeah. So, and the first one was $1,000 a month. So it, but I didn't need to, but I wanted to get into more exotic cars and stuff like that. So like when you're getting some guy to drop off his Rolls Royce and he rocks up to this like shithole factory in the back of Dandenong. It's a bit like, you know.
Is that when you're trying to accentuate it from just doing like Holdens and all that kind of stuff to moving into these more higher end cars?
Yeah. So that was a huge part for it. When we moved there, rebranded the website, all new uniforms. Even our work quality was the same, and the guys working for me are more than capable of doing it. It does get to a point where image counts, like, you know, whether you can do the job or not, whether they see your work on Instagram and Facebook and go, fuck yeah, it looks sick. If they come down and no one's in uniform and the joint looks like a bit shit, it's still enough to like lose the job. So people look at how you look after your factory and how your staff present themselves, because they want to know that you're going to look after this $300,000 car. Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty important, isn't it?
Yeah, so that was a big thing. Revamp that, make over the business. So that was 2015, 2016. And then, we did start getting some nice cars. I hit up I reached out to car rental joint in Melbourne.
Yep.
Offered them some cost price wraps for their rentals for like, you know, Gelatos and Ferraris and shit. And and they were happy with it. So that was like our first ones, and then.
Because I remember seeing that you, what I think one of the turning points for you, especially when you're wrapping exotic cars, was when the Candyman wanted his car wrapped.
Yeah,
right?
so I hit him up too. Offered him like cost price wrap. Didn't even hear back for like 6 months, maybe longer, and then they randomly just got a call from his like PA, and just said, "Yeah, when can you do it? Can you come up here?" So he did his Aventador in like the chrome gold, which was sick. Like, that was like definitely the wildest job we've done. So that was good. And then he also got.
Does it make you nervous though, knowing, because obviously you're not wrapping it yourself, you're obviously your staff wrapping it.
Yeah.
Do you ever sit there and think to yourself, fuck, if this goes fucking wrong, or we scratch a panel, we're fucked?
So back then I was rapping, but my brother was like heaps better than me, so I just sort of went up here, gave him a hand doing it. But I knew he was more than capable, like whether it was $1,000 car or $1 million car, like he could rap. Like,
yeah, the boy could rap. So yeah.
I knew that was no problem. It was more like, especially dealing with someone like that, you know, I hadn't met him, didn't know what he's like, didn't know what his expectations were, didn't know like anything. And then, you know, you message from a company and you rock up and you're like, I would have been like 25 or something. And then you start to think like, fuck, they're going to judge me, this young dude, tattooed, like, you know, and, but that's the only thing I was worried about, is just like
the first impression kind
of
thing.
sort of thing. Yeah. But no, he was stoked, just came, picked up the car, I was like blown away. He's like, fuck, this is awesome. Like, you know, love it. And easy as that. And
tagged you on the social and all that stuff.
Yeah, ended up, ringing up like a week later and saying, can you come do all the cars? So like, we wrapped his G-Wagon, Bentley, Harley, fucking, I don't know, he had Ferrari, like even his dad rocked up while we were wrapping the cars and said, oh, can you wrap my Murcielago? So wrap that. And
fucking hell. It soon spirals then. Once you start doing one big name, it starts to all come through, doesn't it?
Yeah, that definitely helped. And I think probably at that stage I met Chris. So he...
That's Chris Shao.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He come in to my shop. I didn't know him. He just referred through a mutual friend. He had like a G-Wagon. And he rocked up on like red peas in like this brand new G-Wagon. I was like, what the fuck? And then
this guy's got some cash.
Yeah. And then he brought in a mate with a Hurricane that we did matte black. And that was at the transition of moving into the new factory. So it was perfect. I just looked after him just to be able to put photos of their stuff up. So at this stage, I pretty much did like the car rental joint, the supercar rental joint, Candyman's, Chris and his mates, a couple of mates' cars. Just
it's giving you some good high end content though.
Yeah, heavily reduced, but
yeah.
Not going backwards, but just enough to pay the boys' wages and shit. But it was really building like upped our content huge, which was good. I ended up getting like becoming like. We made a really good friendship through work with Chris. And then it's like one of them things, you know, mates and mates see and they bring their cars in, or, you know, someone with a Lambo sees another Lambo get wrapped, and then it's like reassuring. They're like, oh, okay, if they do it on that one, they can do it for mine. So that really like got our like portfolio up, redid the website, helped with all the new look, new images, business cards, everything. So that's where and then the business has just sort of been growing from then. We got into like 2017. We did our first like. I got approached by this bloke Matt from Flash Market. He's like reached out.
What a Flash Market?
So he's got he's like an app development company, but his Flash Market was like pretty much like any businesses can put their stuff on their local buyers and stuff,
right? Okay,
like deals, like flash deals and stuff like that. And he reached out and he said, "Oh, you know, you've got such a good following. I reckon you could do a car giveaway." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You know, imagine everyone just pays a certain amount of money into the ticket," and he knew right at the stage he didn't know a charity, but he ended up reaching out, found some charities, and they were doing the old school way, like leaving a prize in a shopping centre.
Yeah. And people just buy tickets, but you were thinking, oh, okay, I'll do this through social.
Yeah. And he's like, you know, I didn't understand what he meant, but he could vision it pretty good. And So it was like 2017, and that was like probably because at that stage we had all the like cool jobs coming in, had everything, but we didn't have the best public image. We still looked at like young hoons.
Yeah.
So that was sort of why I was inclined to get on board, and I'm like, this could be really cool. Like, so
you've had to really reposition the brand right away from day dot, because you didn't probably start off with the forethought maybe of what it's going to be day one. So you had to really reposition as you've gone along. Yeah,
I've had like Sam Newman bringing his brand new Lambos and stuff, and like when I was starting, there's no way in how I'd ever think that, I'd be like doing shit to say Sam Newman's Aventador and shit like that. So that wasn't even I didn't structure anything for that. Even our logo, I changed.
You were just a young lad chasing your passion, weren't you, at the end of the day?
Yeah. Even our first logo was like a silhouette of a girl with eye candy. It was sort of like a sexy silhouette of a girl, like obviously more for like younger dudes to look at. Got sort of phased that out. I still got it, but the main logo is like an ECM. It's just clean.
Yeah.
I didn't have any like goal towards getting the dudes in Lambos and stuff like that. So yeah, really changed it all. But then we still had that, like, I don't know, I guess some people thought we like rat bags. Whether it's someone had an eye candy sticker on their car and they've been a rat bag, or whatever they've heard, or, even me when I was like first opened at like when I was 20, like, I was just like doing skids on the streets everywhere. And
because there was a big kickoff with the police, wasn't there, when you did like you did this skid video outside the front of your factory, wasn't it?
In my factory, yeah.
Yeah. And wasn't there a bit of a police altercation on the back of doing that?
Yeah, so I did a skid nomination thing where I sort of did a skid, and then I nominated 2 people to do a skid. And I was like, you know what, I'll film it in my own factory so I can't get in shit.
But other people weren't doing it in a safe environment, were they? On the back end of you doing it? Yeah.
So then they had to sort of set an example because it went on the news and shit like that. So then they came down and like arrested me, and
so you got arrested for doing a skid on private property.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty illegal to me.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Did it get thrown out?
Well, I was too young and dumb to get a solicitor. I used like legal aid. So I got like smashed. I got my car impounded. I didn't even know what I pleaded guilty to, but I found out like 5 years later that I pleaded guilty to a criminal charge. So I didn't even get done for traffic. I got done for criminal act of endangering lives, which is like really bad. Like, it's fucked me up so many times. Like, couldn't get into some countries. Of like applying for licenses for certain shit, can't get it. Like, it's fucked.
And if there's a lesson in here for anyone listening to this podcast, is like, if you do get into any trouble, like, at least get the proper protection to obviously defend yourself.
Oh, 100%.
Otherwise, because getting a criminal charge against yourself for fucking skidded in a private factory on your own land is pretty fucking harsh, to be honest.
Yeah, and on top of that, it was, looking back $1,500 in, I was like, fuck that. And now I'd like pay $1,500. I'd pay fucking 15 grand to fucking wipe that off my name.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. And like, it was only because I was just like, it was just a burnout. So like, how bad can it be? But this was like,
but because you got that following and you'd built that Facebook page up and Instagram was popping off for you, then like you sharing it, and then like maybe how many other people joined into this movement? Like, was it thousands or hundreds?
The video went very viral. Like, got thousands and thousands of shares. But yeah, I guess I just underestimated like what the police can charge you with over something stupid. No, to me, no matter what other people did, like, I just thought, I know I've done it in my shop, whatever. Like, I
think though, with the right legal team, I think that would have carried. I just think you had the wrong.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So that's why I just think, I won't get anyone. Like, who cares? It's just a skid. How bad could it be? So yeah, I guess that's another message, is like, definitely if you don't know what you're getting charged for, you really need to look into it. I just thought, I'll plead guilty, lose my license 3 months. That's
yeah, because you were looking short term. But
I was like, fuck it, I just can't be fucked. I don't want to get legal. I can't be fucked with ongoing court case. I just want to go in, put my hand up. Yeah, I did it. I didn't even know I was pleading guilty too. So there is. And I always used to think the same way as you, right? In regards to like people, why don't they just box it off as quick as they can? But it's when you look at these big companies getting
getting charged or trying to fine them billions. They'll take them through the court process as long as fucking possible, and spend thousands and thousands doing it, millions doing it, because they're trying to drag it out to the best outcome. And they're perfectly willing to do that. And kind of us as single men, like young men, we think, oh no, fuck that, we want to box it off as quick as possible. Sometimes that's not the best way.
Oh, definitely not. Like, now I know more and shit, but shit happens, and big lesson learned.
But on the other side of the coin, I think that probably popped you off to another level of it was good. Like, it was branding. It probably wasn't the right branding, but it's probably branding all the same, you know?
Yeah, that's a big thing with, like, my branding. No matter what's happened, like being on fucking A Current Affair or being on, like, Sunrise, and, like, not for good things. It all ended up in the favour. Like, pages grew, followers grew.
What was it you ended up on Current Affair for?
So they came to say, oh, we want to interview you on your, like, charity work and do a segment on, like, charity. And then they came and I was like, fuck, yeah, all right. And then stupid me. And then he started just saying, like, oh, why'd you put a jet ski in the pool on a straight day? Could you have killed someone and all this shit? And I was like, what the fuck's this got to do with charity? But then, like, by the time I said, oh, don't worry about it, I don't want to do the interview, it was sort of too late. Like, we'd talked a bit, and then they had enough to twist it and manipulate. And then, sure enough, like, the next night, it's like, Australia's loosest bogan takes a straight A for a joke. Like,
so how did you go about getting a jet ski into a pool?
I think it's one of the things, you know, when you're pissed, everything's just a good idea. And then it wasn't a plan, and we just were getting pissed, and then we're just like, fuck, let's get jet ski in the pool. We had, like, I think it was like 10 of us, like, because it wasn't a little stand up, it wasn't even a spark, it was like a full blown.
It was a full, I see the video. It's like a full blown like 12, 14, 15 grand jet ski or something. Yeah.
We all just dragged it through and chucked it in, and it was good at the time. And then I didn't even think about it when I posted it, because I was using Snapchat back then, because I deleted it now, but I just remember my Snapchat views went, like, spastic. Like, heaps of people must have sent it to other people. Because, like, whatever it was like 10 times more my normal view.
10 times more normal reach,
Yeah, so I, like, put a video up on Facebook, and then it went, like...
Have you had a lot of success with the Snapchat as a channel? Like, for
I got rid of it years ago, like, because I've got so much shit going on. Someone will ask me a question, and then I'll answer it, and they'll reply, and they'll be like, what were we talking about again? Like,
because it disappears.
And I'm like, well, hey, bro, can you lower my car next week? Like, yeah, bro, blah, blah. And then I'll ask something else back, and then I won't book it in, and then they rock up, and they're like, bro, you told me. I'm like, when? I'll try to look back for it, and it's gone, and I just got over it.
So that's not really good for what you're trying to do.
Well, people just, like, I don't know why, they just forget to just call the shop, book in, do the processes. Sometimes they just reach out to me on my socials, which is not good, because I'm usually, like, on the go checking my socials, and then I just go, I'll sort it, and then
you
forget.
Because like, even when we did this, right, like, when we put this podcast in, like, obviously, like, because you're so busy, you can get wires crossed on time and this and the other.
100%.
And it's like, because you are so busy, like, you have to, if you're going to book in a car with you can't just fucking expect to DM you when you got 40 lads that work for you. Do you know what I mean? What was the how long had you had the big shop in Melbourne before you decided to move it to the Gold Coast?
I guess, going back to where we were, is that, like, sort of 2017, I really wanted to focus on fixing up the name with all the negative media. Joined up with Matt, did this first raffle, which was, like, blew me away. It was a huge success. Like, I think we raised, like, 120 grand in maybe 4 weeks or something, which was, like...
I bet they didn't report that, did they?
Spastic. Nah. And then, so we started doing more and more. We got to, like, the point where we were doing, like, 800 grand in a week. And these some of these raffles we did more in a week than the charity was doing in a year or longer. So it was awesome. I met heaps of cool people. We started raising money for, like, the farmers in the droughts, floods, fires, wildlife, like, centres where they were looking after, like, you know, it was awesome. Like, the media, we did get some good media coverage on, like, the news and stuff with, like, the Gippsland bushfires, the farmers, that it really, like, did help. And now, still to this day, helps with that double-edged, like, oh, he's loose and reckless, but, like...
But he's got a good heart.
He's got, and the shit I'm doing isn't, like, criminal shit. Like I'm not dealing drugs or bashing people and stuff. It's just getting caught up with like dumb shit, like a skid or something. Like, like realistic. Like it's not illegal anywhere else. Like it's just in here. Like the shit I'm doing, say in America, I wouldn't have even had a fine now. Like it's just the shit I'm doing is just so petty, but it's still in Melbourne.
I think a lot of it's to do with like, say you did something today, and the police would have a problem with you, but not because of what you did today, but because of what you did in the past. Yeah. So they've got a preconceived idea. Of Troy from then. And
well, that's why moving up here has helped heaps. Like it's just like a fresh start.
Just get you out that kind of scene.
Yeah, I've had heaps of run-ins with the police up here, and they've been sweet. Like they've come to the shop, introduced themselves. I've been pulled over. They just check everything, check license. Yeah, all good. Whereas like Melbourne, it was like, even if I wasn't doing anything wrong, just got to the stage where like, there he is, fuck this guy. Come here.
Because if they can pull you over and they can find one little defect with your car, you know, they can ping you. It's a good little scalp to take in the office, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I've been pulled over here where cars, they like if they wanted to be pricks, they could have done shit. But like I've just been driving, doing the right thing, talk to them nicely.
Yeah, and they're not defecting you for the size of your wheels or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, moving up here was a fresh start. Got rid of that. So I only moved up here probably it was like October last year, and that was just because of COVID. It was just dragging on so long in Melbourne.
So did it when you got locked down in Melbourne for you? Did it really affect your business?
Yeah, huge. And because at that time Troy Candy had started, and all the snorkels had started. I once again didn't plan on any shit, so like all my business structure is really bad, like all my entities and trusts and all that really bad. But long story short, we got cut from like JobKeeper and all that because I was earning money online with like ECM label, you know, all this stuff. So got cut from JobKeeper, didn't get rent relief, like nothing. So like, you know, I was losing like 30 grand a month in like wages and rent and power and fucking WorkSafe bills and insurance and
because that WorkSafe down in Melbourne's pretty fucking expensive, isn't it? Like,
it's insane.
Because I remember when I used to, I don't know if you know my story, but years ago I used to be a shop fitter, right? Yeah. And I remember working in Melbourne, mate, and honestly those union sites are fucking ridiculous. Like the amount of stuff that you kind of paperwork you have to fill in. Yeah. And it's no wonder why Melbourne and Victoria is such a nanny state, because it'd be so hard to have a business there and to make money. Yeah, just from you have to turn over such a fucking volume to be able to make the money, don't you?
Yeah, it's insane. So that's why I sort of like when all that was going on, and everyone just kept saying, "Oh, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks." I went from like February, March, like June, and then we're like getting into August or something, and I was like, "Fuck."
Did the lockdown start in January?
So like end of Feb, I think we started locking down, and like our lockdowns weren't like other states where it was like you can still go do this. Like it got to the stage where you weren't allowed to leave the house for longer than an hour. If you go to do the groceries, like you couldn't even go with your missus. One person had to stay at home, one person go there. Yeah, you weren't allowed to leave past 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. or something. It was just like
it's like you're in the war.
Ridiculous, yeah. It was fucked, and it was like it turned Melbourne really like I don't know eerie, and like I felt sick. Like everyone's rugged up in masks. People are arguing. You can wear a mask. You can't. You shouldn't be out. You go in. Everyone's turning everyone on each other. It was just shit. Like I was just like, this is fucked. Work's fucked. Everyone here's fucked. Like
I need something new. Yeah, I need something new.
And then like everyone's like, fuck that. You got to quarantine. I'm like, fuck. That's a small price to pay to like get out of here. And I mean, looking back now, like Melbourne was in lockdown stage 4 just last week. That's like 6 months later after moving here, they're still doing these ridiculous heavy as lockdowns
for like, and you're talking about like 1 or 2 people here,
one or two people
in the whole country.
I think they like come from international tennis players or something that they so like their system doesn't even make sense. They're so strict, but then they let people come in from overseas, and then it happens, and then everyone gets punished for it. Like so I moved up here, fresh start, awesome, heaps of networking, meeting all new content, meeting new people, you know, catching up with like Jackson O'Doherty, Shami, Luke Owen, like just all dudes that I've never actually met, obviously have similar
You have a similar kind of followership in terms of like these boys create these kind of mad videos and mad content that obviously goes out and they make good Facebook videos and all this kind of stuff of doing mad shit. But like it's shit that people want to go onto Facebook and they want to be entertained. Yeah. Especially if they're fucking locked down in Melbourne.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They need to smile at something, don't they?
Yeah. So, and then even like I just worked out like just everyone's up here, like even just like all Nitro Circus boys, like pretty much anyone who's like working for themselves seems to be up here. So the networking went really good. Like met heaps of people, ideas, fresh content, did like heaps of new stuff. There's no places to drift or whatever in Melbourne. Like, there's like Archerfield, Queensland Raceway, there's like Lakeside, there's just so many events and stuff. Jet skiing, like the sun's always out, like, you know, everyone's on boats, jet skis at Island Park, at Wave Break and Tipplers. And so like the whole, I feel like almost like, it's like a full new life. Like
you've kind of reinvented yourself.
Yeah, there's just so much to do, so much to learn, so many new people, new restaurants to go to instead of going the same shit every week. Like it's honestly been the best thing that we've done. And then because of all the fresh content, obviously our e-commerce just boosted heaps because had new parties like out doing snorkels and ECM label meeting up with like people doing photo shoot. Like we couldn't even organise shoots for our clothes and stuff.
I saw you on Pele's boat party the other week.
Yeah, stuff like that.
I'm mates with Pele and that, and yeah, he did a boat party with you, didn't you? Like,
yeah,
and it's like, where would you do that in Melbourne?
No, you couldn't. Like, and even if you did, you'd book it in, and it'll be 10 times the price because there's only like 1 or 2 boats in Melbourne, and then you'd get to the day and it would fucking rain, and then we'd be in lockdown. It just wouldn't happen. Like,
there'd be something there that would stop it going ahead, wouldn't there?
Yeah, exactly. So that's been sick, and then like because I moved up here, I got like, say jet ski and dirt bikes or bikes and cars and shit. I was like, fuck, I need a factory to store them all because I normally store them all in.
Oh, so you didn't move up here then to start a factory?
No.
So you literally just moved away to get away from the lockdown.
And the police said they were getting real bad in the end, like literally just parking in my driveway and like waiting for us to get home and just harassing my missus. Like every time I was out, they just go see her and like try and question her about like just the dumbest shit. Like we're literally in stage 4 lockdown where you can't even leave 5 k's your house, and they were driving because we moved really far out, like down there
to try and get away from all these issues.
Yeah, we moved down to like Portsea Way, like fucking there's nothing out there. And they're like coming out and like questioning her, like, hey, was this you driving this car on this day? And like just dumb shit. Like the car had done nothing wrong. Like it might have been a burnout in an industrial area on a weekend at like nighttime. Like just not even
consequential to you.
Not even in a skid meet, nothing. Like literally like just the dumbest shit. I'm like, these guys are so bored. Maybe because of lockdown there was like no crime because everyone was at home and like, I don't know, but it was just they were just taking the piss. So I literally just moved just to get away from that. And then I was up here and I was like, fuck, I didn't think about it. I'm like, where the fuck am I going to keep like even just somewhere where I need to change tyres, change wheels, work on my car. Like, so I was like looking at factories, and then I was like, fuck, this is going to cost me like the same amount as a house just to store my shit. I was like, fuck, maybe I should, and I need to get shit done. Like, just sometimes I want like a black roof on my cars or like bits and pieces, and I don't want to go to another wrap shop because then they'll be like, oh, Candy's come here to get shit done. Like, even though I couldn't, and I didn't want to send my cars down every time I get shit done. So I was like, fuck, maybe I just open like a really small mini ECM. So, and then I was like, no, I can't be fucked. Like, I can't run it. Like, I'm at my capacity. I've got few other businesses going on. I've got this like Candy Nation platform that I'm opening. I've got like TroyCandy.com, ECM label, iCandyman. I was like capped. And then I was like talking to my mate Sean, who owns Black Diamond Tinning. Yeah. And he's been up here his whole life, knows the ins and outs. He's super driven, super switched on. And I was like, bro, if we were to do like an ECM, would you go halves with it? And like, we'll do something together. But you run it and I'll just use my branding and I'll just keep it busy. And he was like, sort of like a bit of a not serious at the start, but then started like getting really, I'm like, look, I'm going to have to get a factory regardless. So we started just sitting down and putting our heads together, and then, we we come up with it, the name, the ECMGC, all new logos, new entity, like everything. And then we haven't even still officially opened. We just posted, like I just posted a thing on my Instagram saying, photo of me and Sean, the shop, going, look, we got something cool coming.
Yeah.
Just like that photo, literally, that was like, I can't remember, it was like December or something, maybe November. We've been booked out every week since then. We're still booked out for like another month in advance, with no phone number, no website, no.
You've not even got a website?
No.
So how are you booking these people in?
People message me on Instagram like, bro, like, I know you're not open yet, but can you get my car done, and can you do this? And
that's amazing. That is the power of social media right there, isn't it?
yeah, and that's like why we haven't fully opened yet, because instead of like doing the shop up and putting in hoists and doing all our lighting and.
So you've not even done any, you've not put hoists in or nothing?
No, it's just like we've just been like head to the ground wrapping, and all the jobs have been super cool. Like did Jackson's matte black Lambo, did Shami's matte black Evoque that he's given away. We've done like all these like, you know,
because that's a Shami uncut prize, isn't it?
Yeah, and then done like all these bright pink AMGs, bright green, like blue, like just really cool jobs that I'm like, fuck, I can't
turn it down.
Get it in, let's get it in, let's do it. But it's working out good. Like we're still just chipping away at the shop, but just making sure we get the work done.
So when do you reckon you'll announce official opening?
I don't know. I want to like get it really like pimped out, and then have like a cool little launch night. Maybe with like we'll drop like a bit of our own merch, like some ECMGC merch, just for like the Gold Coast or Queensland people.
Yeah.
Have like an open night with some fresh merch. Have all the cars there. Like have some music. Like have like a cool little, you know, function. So I want to do it all properly. So I just want to maybe hopefully in the next month, it'll be awesome. So yeah, that's how that sort of came about, and it's been the best thing. Like being able to get all my cars wrapped. When I buy a car up here, let's get it wrapped and done straight away. Like I sound like a brat, but I just can't have a stock car. Like literally, I've brought a C63
Merc. Yeah.
I haven't even driven it. Like it's fully stock, and it's literally just.
And you won't drive it because it's fully stock.
Yeah, like it sounds fucking bratty, but I'd actually rather like a way shitter car that's like done up,
pimped out.
Yeah, like, but that's just me. I'm just like.
So who kind of inspires you in this industry? Like, do you look at rappers and people from other countries that do shit? I mean, have you heard of like Yanamize in the UK and seen what they do?
Yeah, I went over and met him in 2016 maybe.
Yeah.
Went to his shop, and we had a mutual friend, so he gave me a lot of time, took me through a tour in his shop. Actually taught me a lot. So I restructured my business.
So what was it that he taught you that made you restructure? Break it down for me.
So I guess like one of the biggest things that I was doing wrong. So I guess if there's any other rappers listening, they might pick up on this too. But I just pretty much had dudes like prepping the car, cleaning it, wrapping it, and putting it back together.
Right. And Yanni taught you that you got to have people doing separate jobs.
Yeah. He's like, what? He's like, anyone can clean a car. Why have you got these highly skilled, hard to find vinyl wrappers cleaning cars? Like,
yeah.
So he showed me his production line. Like literally, car comes in, gets cleaned. Next bay, dismantler, because anyone could sort of clean. Yeah. Then you got panel beaters, but they're still heaps easier to find than vinyl wrappers.
Yeah.
So the panel beater was pulling it apart, everything, and then the vinyl wrapper was wrapping it, and then it goes back to the panel beater, and then back to the cleaner for like a final.
So he taught you to plug in systems to your business to make it more of a conveyor belt, more of a just in time model where you're going through where the car goes through the factory and through the process.
Yeah, well, and then when you stand back and look at it, the vinyl wrapper is literally
just
vinyl wrapping non-stop.
Yeah.
No breaks, no nothing. Is just like vinyl wrapping, and then when you work out what the vinyl wrapper is earning you per hour, it makes sense. Like, why would I have him cleaning a car? I
bet the fucking switch in your head when he told you this.
I was actually looked at it. I was still back. I'm like, how the fuck have I like not even just worked this out for myself? Like,
because it seems so obvious from when you say it to me like that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if I started a vinyl wrap shop tomorrow, I'm sure I would have the boys doing everything as well.
Well, you just think, why am I going to put someone else on like another wage when this vinyl wrapper is capable of pulling apart the car, cleaning it, putting it back together?
But even that mindset there is it when you look at it back now, it's a dumb mindset, isn't it? Because like you got to have the right. You just, if you're paying him X amount of dollars per hour and he's your top rapper, you want him just rapping for 8 hours a day. Yeah,
well, it actually went a lot further than that. It actually started making me reevaluate my jobs and what I was doing, and could I be putting anyone in place to, you know, sometimes I found myself like cleaning the shop up or driving around picking up parts and shit. And then it really made me like step back and go, hang on, why haven't I got someone running around doing parts? Because I'm putting off massive quotes, contracts, revamping.
Because you're caught in the weeds.
I'm caught just doing dumb shit.
Yep.
And that was that was like a big eye opener. Shit like that, I don't think you can, like, you know, even you'll learn that, like, you can't pay for that. Like,
what do you, if you had to put a number on it, right, in terms of revenue, that system, that system, obviously you fly into England to obviously meet Yanni and all that, and go through his shop and all that, you know, by the time you've done that trip, you've stayed in London, you've done all that, you've spent fucking 20 grand, right? But what do you reckon, because this is where people get it wrong. Some people wouldn't have spent the 20 grand to go and learn something they don't know, right?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I'm spending the 20 grand because I want to know what I don't know. I want to know what's the difference between my level of work and this guy, because this guy's killing it on YouTube as well and everything.
Yeah, why is this guy the biggest in the world? Like, he's doing the same thing I'm doing. Why is he?
So why is it? So how, in terms of revenue numbers, what do you reckon that investment you made in yourself right there to go and see Yanni, what do you reckon that's paid off to you in the back end?
Look, I wouldn't know the exact thing, but putting one extra staff on is literally doubled the amount of cars we're getting out the door by setting up that. By putting one extra person on to clean and pull apart the car and keep it like a production line, is literally doubled the cars we're getting out of the door. Like,
fucking hell, that I love this, because this is some mad. This is If I don't know who's listening to this right now, but that is some mad shit to understand, that if you've got the right system in place, or you're doing something and someone else is doing it better in your industry, you have to go and understand that business and go inside and have a look and kind of and most of the people like Yanni will help people like yourself, because you're not exactly going to be direct competition on the other side of the world, are you? No. So like, is there any other? Did you pick up anything else while you're there?
So like, I guess even personally, like inspiration, like motivation, all that just went like sky high. I was just looked at it and I'm like, you know, fuck, look at these cars working, look at this, like, look at this. Like, I just got back with like this fresh mindset, went and redid all my own shit. Like,
was this 2018, by the way?
Nah, maybe older, maybe 16 or 17.
Yeah.
So I reevaluated all my shit, made sure like I kept that really important in my head. Like, don't catch myself doing shit that I should be paying someone else to do.
Yep.
And yeah, I did it with Vegas, because I used to go to the SEMA show from, like, I think first time I went was 2012. They pretty much said, like, you know, on average it's about 3-4 year gap between Australia and SEMA. So like whatever they're doing in America on cars there sort of comes into here about 4 years later. So that's why, like, even 2012, I went there and I'd never even seen a car wrap in Australia. And I went to their car show and it was literally 90% of the cars were wrapped. I was talking to guys there, I'm like, oh, this paint job's sick. And they're like, it's wrapped. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, it's vinyl wrapped.
So you didn't even know about wrap when you went there?
Nah. I was just doing wheels, tyres, suspension, white walling, like the white wall, like painting brakes, just little bits and pieces, black badges.
And this was when you went to America, yeah?
Yeah, I heard about wrap, but I was like, that would look like contact paper. Like, that would be tacky. That'd be all like, picture trying to put a sticker on a car. I'm like, that would look shit. And then, I went there and I was absolutely blown away. I was just like, this is insane. Like, how is this not happening in Australia? And I just got back. I wrapped my car myself, did a shit-ass job. Wrapped my mate's car, did a bit better job. Wrapped another mate's car, just not charge him, just like, because it was shit job.
So you didn't get anyone to teach you just started learning on the job?
Yeah. And then by the end of it, I could do like mirrors and roofs like I was comfortable with. And then like I ended up getting my brother to come work for me, and he literally I just threw him like some wrap, a knife, this, that, and I said, look, this is what I think you got to do. but like watch YouTube and shit, I might be wrong. And he just started rapping, and then like he just picked it up like just a freak, like because it's like patience and like you got to be careful, and I'm not patient, so I sort of understood it.
You don't want the cut marks on. I watch a lot of Yanni's channel before obviously knew you and obviously met you and followed you in that. But I watch a lot of Yanni's channel, and even where you put the joins is fucking important. Yeah,
bro, you can cut the paint, you can do crooked cuts, you can like it can go so wrong. It can all stretch back and like it can go so wrong if there's a hack installer. So like I guess like the money I spent going to Vegas, I wouldn't even be vinyl wrapping today. Because I wouldn't have, or if I was rapping today, it would have been because all the shops here started doing it, and I just followed the trend.
Yeah. So you were way ahead of the trend, then, would you say?
Yeah. There was maybe like one in Vic, one other shop that I knew that was doing it, but he was doing it so early, there wasn't even supplies here for it, and he was importing it from America, and you could only get matte black.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So it was just matte blacking cars. Like.
Yeah. So it's not like anyone had much of a choice with it back then.
No.
Did you find it hard? Because I know when I watched his channel and that, like there's so many different qualities of vinyl, man. And if you put the wrong vinyl on a car, you like even though it could look good today, you let it out the shop. Fucking 3 days later, you got fucking bubbles in it. Oh yeah,
So the second time I went to SEMA, I started like paying more attention to the wraps, because the first time I just seen it on the car. The second time I was like, I need to go talk to the suppliers, work out prices, this, that. I went there and I found some rolls literally. Look, our average roll was about 20 meters and it's $1,000 a roll roughly.
Yeah. For good stuff. Is that good stuff?
Yeah. I found one like say 30 meters and it was $100. So it's like, I was like, fuck, is this the markup they're putting on it? Like, is it by the time it gets to Australia and then the distributor does it? Like, fuck, I grabbed like 3 rolls of this shit, got it imported, I wrapped my cars in it, it looked fucking sick. And then like literally 3 days later, it just fucking just shrunk everything up. Like, every corner lift, like it was just horrible. Yeah. So like I learnt the hard way, like just.
But at least you tested it on your own cars before you went and put it on customers. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It was.
Have you ever released a job from the shop that you thought, fuck, that looks sick, and then it's just all gone tits up from there?
No, not really. I get a lot of customers that say, do what you want, like make it look sick, and then you do it. And I had like the best run. Like everyone was like, fuck yeah, this is sick. And then I literally did this one car, and I was like, kept asking the guys like, oh, just whatever you reckon. And I said, oh, let's do it this colour. And he's like, yeah, what? And then like he literally just come to pick it up. He's just like carrying on. He's like, no, this isn't what I wanted. And I'm like, but you didn't tell me what you wanted. You just sort of told me to do it, and I suggested, and you said yes. And he's like, yeah, but you talked me into that colour and this and that. I'm like, and then ever since then, I've just never done it again. Like when someone says do what you want, I'm like, nah we're writing down and you're signing what you asked for, because
that's a good business lesson right there. Because I've had it with I remove online content for people, right? And the people will say, I just want 3 links removed. Now, let's stipulate exactly what 3 links we're looking at. Yeah. Because we removed 3 links, and then all of a sudden another 5 come up that you say they were part of the original 3, or this one was part of the original 3, not that one. It's like people always just try and chance it. So I fully resonate with that. It's got to be written down, signed off. Otherwise, you're going to have a hell of a lot of problems in your game.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I'll just, like, any problems I get, I'll just try and make sure, how can I not have this again? I don't get pissed off. I'll sort it out. Even when the customer's been wrong, I'll just keep them happy, keep our reputation good. And then even if it costs me whatever it costs me, I'm like, all right, that just hurt, but that's not going to happen again. So I guess I'll just make sure I don't, it doesn't cost you as much if it's taught you something.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do it again and again,
then it's going to cost you a lot of money. Yeah. So are you just happy now ramping up that shop in the GC just through Instagram DMs, or are you?
I got no plans to grow it. I want to keep it sort of a bit more like
bespoke.
Boutique.
Yeah, boutique. Yeah,
like.
So there is a waiting list.
If we're booked out in 6 weeks, like I'm not going to put more people on. And now like. Getting into e-commerce, the stress from like running a business compared to e-commerce is just insane. Like, e-commerce is so breezy. It's all automated. It's like, no matter how big your business grows, you can just scale it with the right procedures. Whereas eye candy. Like I got to like 10 staff, the biggest factory, outgrew that. And I looked at it, I'm like,
fuck, this is hard.
I'm just earning more and spending more. Like my profits are the same.
Yeah.
I'm just like, revenue went from, 200 grand a year to 500 grand a year to $1 million a year to 2 million a year. But my bottom profit line was the same. It was just more the employees wanted work cars, petrol, the rent got bigger, WorkSafe got bigger. And I'm like,
insurance.
Surely it goes up. You make a little bit of money more. But you've gone from wrapping 30 cars a year to 200 cars a year. So that's 200 more headaches, 200 more warranties. That it just scales so big. Whereas like scaling e-commerce, I'm like, all right, we just ramp it up with the third-party logistics. All right, we're just going to order a bit more stock. All right, we're going to spend a bit more on marketing. It's just so easy. So I've got no interest to go down that path with the ECM.
At what point though did you say did you only start getting into did you get into the e-com first with the ECM brand?
Yeah.
Before you came across the Snorkel, right?
Yeah, so we did ECM label, the clothing, and that wasn't really to make money. It was because people just kept saying, I want a hoodie, I want this, I want that. And then I was like ordering it and just selling it at the shop, and I was just fucking shit up, like just giving shit to my mates. And then someone goes, oh, can I get a hoodie? Yeah, and they drive an hour and then it's not there because I've given it, it was just fun.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, we'll make an online store, start doing it properly. And then
so you just found someone in Australia to fulfill the orders, or?
At the start, my missus was just doing it. So just pick and packing and stuff. It was like pretty chill. And then we just started like bringing out more stuff, like more designs and everything. And then we started doing like 50 grand a month on just clothing.
Fucking good, isn't it?
And she was like literally working all day and then packing all night. And she was like having a breakdown. She's like, I can't, you got to like sort something out. So we started going like third party logistics to sort that out. And then I was like looking at the figures, because I wasn't even looking at the figures for months. I was just like, she just looked busy and whatever.
I just leave her to it. She looks busy.
Yeah, as long as people getting their orders. And then I'll start looking, I'm like, fuck, like this has got the potential to make as much money as the shop itself. And I've got 10 people working. I've got 500 square meters, 600 square meters of space I'm renting for it. I've got, 100 grand in tools and hoists and this and that. How the fuck is these clothes doing the same,
Yeah, just, and you're selling the clothes off the back of doing something you're passionate about, which is obviously like you're wrapping high-end cars, which you can do from a boutique, like you said.
Yeah.
And you're creating content with your own cars.
Yeah.
And that's what's selling the clothing. So you could actually scale back and make more money.
Yeah, I couldn't have done the other way around. If I started ECM clothes, people just like, who the fuck's ECM?
Yeah.
You just, what is that? But people love the story. They love the merch. They were like proud to wear it and show where they go. Same as the stickers on the cars. Like normally you got to pay someone to say, hey, can you put eye candy on your car? I'll pay you.
Yeah.
And we had like this huge influx of people like, give us the biggest eye candy sticker you've got. Like
we'll put it on
down
that
the side of my car. I want this. I was like, I was just blown away, and it was such a good feeling. Like you're just cruising on the street. I still see it now, even up here heaps, like Gold Coast. I'll just be on the M1 and someone will like beep, and then they sort of go past and they got like eye candy on their back window and shit. It's a mad feeling to know that they're happy to rep. They're proud to, rep it. It's like a cool brand. Like they want to
just goes to show you how powerful though the social media's been for your brand.
Yeah,
because that's what's giving you the reach to be able to get into these people's heads, to be able to obviously get them to vibe you and obviously vibe your content.
Yeah, well, I guess I was probably the first. I reckon I'd be one of the first generations where. So my first business, I was called Instant White Walls, where I was just doing white walls on the tyres. And I had a Facebook page for it, but you couldn't even have a page back then. So I had to make a person called Instant and last name White Walls. Like, that's how like early on. And I reckon I was at that point where
you can have up to 5,000 friends.
Yeah. And I was at that point where like everyone, I'm trying to ask older people, how do I do this? How do I do that? And everything was irrelevant. Like your yellow pages, your fucking like all this shit that everyone was giving me was irrelevant. I was sort of at the crossover where like anyone older than me were already established and they got established for yellow pages and that. anyone younger than me didn't have a business because I was only 21, 20.
Yeah.
So I was at this weird where I couldn't ask anyone for help, and I didn't know.
So you just had to kind of like figure it out and kind of work your way through it through some other method, because the old methods that put people on the pedestal the way you want to be just weren't going to work for you now.
Yeah, like the older people, I'd ask them like, mate, you can't run a business off Facebook. You know, like that's fucking stupid. Like you need a website, you need like yellow pages, you need to look professional. But then it was working, and I'm like, so I'm getting these weird like people saying it doesn't work, but it's working. So what the fuck do I do? Like. You just keep fucking pumping the fucking thing that's working, don't you? Yeah.
And then try and find something else you can also put another stream in to make that work too, which was obviously Instagram for you.
Yeah.
And Snapchat.
And I guess too, growing up, now a lot of young dudes can... So a big thing that's changed for us is like, we pretty much when we were kids, we only like looked up to celebrities.
Yeah. Which
you only see in movies. Now you can look up to someone and then you can follow them on Instagram, and every now and then they might do a Q&A and offer advice and you can get some advice from them on their journey. Yeah, which is, I guess it wasn't around for me then. But yeah, we're at that weird time where like we didn't even have anyone to get advice off how to grow a business on social media because people just weren't. It was like almost like there wasn't really and influencer wasn't even a word like back then. Like,
yeah, I know. People when I do a Q&A, people ask me like, "Well, how have you got all these decent people at these decent levels on your podcast?" And I'm like, "Well, I just talk to them."
Yeah,
they're like, "Yeah, but how?" I'm like, "Well, I just message them and I'll just send them a voice note, and I'll get a mutual. I'll help out someone." Like 3 years ago, and then find out they're a mutual friend with that person. They'll introduce me. Like I'm not a rocket scientist. I just help people, and then later on down the track, it kind of works out that because I've helped that person, they'll help me.
Yeah,
like, do you know what I mean?
And
like,
we didn't have that like connection or anything, so I literally had no help from like older business owners. No one really to look up to. My dad was in mechanics his whole life, busted his balls, massive weeks, like big hours, like hard work, like, you know, his hands always fucked, and like he had a custom exhaust shop, always coming home with like fucked up massive cuts and fucking blisters and just welding, just grinding, like
working hard.
As soon as he saw me heading into cars, he was just like, there's no money in cars, stay out of it, like blah blah. Like he's obviously come around to it now, but back then, so like...
But he was only operating on what he knew. His thought process was only operating on what he knew.
And he was doing well. Like, he was running his own business. He had a very successful business. And he was making, like, good money, but he was like...
He's just
look at me. He's like, I'm
struggling.
fucking falling apart, like, trying to fucking do this shit. Like, he's head down, like, try and get staff in to do it. And he was doing such, like, custom technical welds and shit that he ended up just having to do it all the time. And as soon as he saw me heading down that path, he was just like, get away from that. So I didn't have really like, my family always been supportive. They've been awesome. But like, I didn't have like a course to go to, because what I also, when I started like Candy, there was no such business that you had mechanics, tire shops, paint shops. You didn't have like this weird shop that like sort of did like, bit of white walls, bit of lowering, bit of like wheels, black badges. So I had no like courses I could do, no mentors, no like, I was in this weird like era. Like now if someone wanted to do what I'm doing, they got so much shit they can look online. They got people running shops, they can go do work experience, it's just so much help now. And that's a huge part why I do so many like Q&As, live streams, because I know there's dudes out there
that aspire to be where you are.
Yeah, and I didn't have anyone to look up to or get any knowledge of, and I wish I did. Even shit like when you asked me to come do this podcast, like this is why I come do it. I don't get money from it. I don't. Just in the back of my head, I'm like, you know what? It'll be cool. We'll sit down and chat. Hopefully, some young dudes out there. Or anyone.
I think it's just a good chance to show. I just wanted the opportunity to be able to show your audience your story.
Yeah,
and I'd seen a lot written, and I didn't. And having met you now, I now know what I thought then. I thought I thought, fuck, they've been a bit harsh on this guy here. When I was reading news articles about you, I thought, fuck, that doesn't sound like it's very fair. Like in terms of like, I get what you're trying to pin on him, but I don't think that was his intention. I don't think that was fair in terms of like what he did led to that. Because what you're talking about there and what you're trying to make out that he's done, he didn't do that. That was someone else. They did that because they watched a social media video. Well, fuck me. There's lots of people that watch social media videos that do some mad shit. Doesn't mean that the person who created the social media videos inciting anything bad at the particular time. It's just however you take that video or take that in whatever context you like, but you can't just go out blaming people and writing articles like they were writing about you.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like you wanna if you're gonna do what I'm doing, you need to be in the spotlight and you need to have eyes on you. And to have eyes on you, you can't be doing the same shit everyone else is doing. So I do this like borderline photos, videos, whatever I do. It's always borderline. It's not illegal, but it could be illegal if like you just pushed it a little bit more. But
and it's the followers that follow you that push it beyond the legal line.
It's more like if anyone else did what I was doing, they wouldn't have a hassle. But then police go, oh, this guy has an influence. We need to publicly find him, arrest him, do whatever we can so he knows like that other people can't do it. So that's the biggest problem for me, and that's why I've been I'm working on this Candy Nation app, which is it's huge. It's very in depth. It's going to be my own platform, but have everything on there, like, you know, exclusive merch,
exclusive content,
mad giveaways. Like, because anyone who's on there is going to be like my core audience. They're not like ghost followers. Like, if you're on there, like, you love what I do. So I'm going to do stuff where, like, you know, I want to throw parties and like pick people and fly them down, put them in accommodation, bring them to party with me, go drifting with me, like really get
similar to what Shami's doing with Shami Uncut then,
yeah, and then do like you know, like then I can post whatever I want without it getting reported or without
because it's within your solid community base. Whereas you don't know, some of the people that might be following you on Instagram might be hating you secretly.
And then you've got, man, like just this thing the other week where we went to Melbourne. There was like a big I did like a car cruise, but it in St Kilda just went nuts. Like we left, and then I seen videos later, like there's that many people that were kicking cop cars and throwing rocks at it. Like,
I saw it,
fucking blew up, like insane. And literally all I said was, hey guys, let's meet in Dandenong, cruise to St Kilda. Before I, like, you know, guys, like, no hooning because I want to be able to do more of these, like, you know, blah, blah. And then straight away.
So you asked your audience, but a few troublemakers obviously make it hard for everybody.
There was heaps of, there was been like 90% of the people there were like stoked to finally have like a car event cruise sort of thing, because it's been dead in Melbourne, especially because of COVID. But then like a handful just like start doing donuts in the middle of like St Kilda and fucking throwing rocks at cop cars, like just real loose shit. But like that's gone so far that for some of the things that people did are barely a crime, and I'll give you an example. One of my close friends got his house like raided with like 6 crime investigation dudes. We're all like, what the fuck has happened? Like something fucking hectic's happened. Got like 6 a.m. on a weekday, like old house, went there. The new owners like rang up and said, hey, just a heads up, they're looking for this guy, blah, blah. And we're like, what the fuck? Like, because I rang him and he's like, I haven't done anything. Like, I'm like, man, 6 cops wouldn't go to your house, like, blah, blah. Then they like went into a workshop and like seized his car, like ripped it onto a tow truck. And then anyway, we found out, like, finally got onto the cop, and it was literally about the St Kilda night, and he didn't even do a burnout there. He was apparently seen, which, like, his face wasn't in it, and you could barely even see the car. Like, literally background thing of, like, his car taking off, which wasn't even in St Kilda anywhere. They'd just gone through, like, every story, every Snapchat, everything, and gave him, like, 8 charges and, like, 3 of them were criminal charges.
Wow.
Impounded the car and put it in long-term police possession. So it's not even in the impound yard, and to get it back in 30 days, they said we're keeping it till mid-September. They'd raided his house, everything. And then, like, we're all talking about it. I'm like, they're one bit of, like, evidence on what they think is, like, if anyone else did it or any other circumstance, no one would even bat an eye. But because of this, like, thing, and then this message they're doing, and then, like, everything.
So is there, like, a zero tolerance thing in Melbourne now to, like, car meets and, like, this hooning culture?
I've never seen anything like, you know, like, I got all the photos and stuff, like, full 3 cop cars rocking up to this house, full search warrant, went through the house.
So you think it's something inside the Victorian police that are obviously like really wanting to clamp down on this,
from that event,
yeah, and use that to leverage other things.
Yeah, because heaps of cars got impounded that day. I found out because people were messaging me like, "Oh, you know, I got arrested and blah blah and stuff like that." But the thing that just like baffles me, and I just can never get my head around it, and it's just what like got me so angry, and I moved. Like when I got fully like smashed into work, lost 20 grand cash. They took the safe, everything. They
took 20 grand cash.
Yeah, when I was like maybe 2014, it was like all my money like saved. I sold a car, and then that night it was Friday Arvo and the banks were closed, so I just like I put it in there. I was like, I'll bank it Monday. I rang the cops. They came out like a day and a half later, and it was one cop just by himself. You know, if like growing up when we were 18, like, you know, some of my mates got like really badly bashed at clubs, try and call cops, like couldn't even get through to them. And by the time they come out, it was like the next day, and it was like, then they said like, look, we can't really do anything. Like, and then this car that may or may not have possibly broken traction off a set of lights. I'm not even talking about doing donuts or like smoking them up. I'm talking like just put the foot down, just broken traction. So had like 6 crime investigation units, dudes come to his house, warrant, kick the door down, seize the car. Like the charges are hectic. Like I know people that have been slapped with like drug trafficking charges or like really bad assault, and it doesn't even compare to what my mate has got from this. And it just spins me out. I'm like, how the fuck can, like, I know like that event was bad, and they want to set an example, but like, just go get the people that were like doing the wrong thing at the event. Like they're in front of the cop car, like hitting the windscreen. Just fucking, surely their computers or something can just see that, hey, this was not these guys. Like, you know, and like the way they've treated it is just like so much more severely than like actually bad crimes.
Yeah.
And it just like, I just can't get my head around it. Like it just absolutely baffled. Like he showed me photos of all the charges, and they're hectic. They're like full, not even traffic charges. They're full criminal charges, like conduct endangering lives. Like,
and he wasn't even there.
He went to St Kilda, but didn't do any burnouts. And he left with me, like, because I was like, fuck, this is like too full on for me. Like I'm going to get out of here. Because when we went, it was like a car meet. Like everyone just parked up. Yeah. Then I started seeing people like just walking on the road, and it just started looking like, I'm like, fuck, people are just standing on the road. And then it gets to the stage where like, as soon as one person does a skid, then it just goes feral. It's like, as soon as that, it just, nothing will happen, but as soon as that one guy does it just really like picks up. So as soon as I saw that one skid, I'm like, fuck, let's get out of here. And then, so that's why I was so surprised. Like, we were like, fuck, what's happened? Or he's been stitched up or whatever. And then we rang, he finally got onto the cop, and they're like, yeah, it's a mate, set kid. I'm like, oh, sweet. Like, who gives a fuck then? Like, it's fuck all. We thought like someone died or like fucking like, it was real serious. Like they were like raiding the house, raiding this, and rent and rip the car out of a shop, like real full on.
And there's literally zero proof that he did anything wrong.
Yeah, it's fucking.
It just seems like there's a bit more of an agenda with it than what's being 100%, stated.
Like they're setting a example.
They're setting
like
a precedent, aren't they?
Tolerance, but like I'm just like, man, if you just want to have zero tolerance, do it with all the other shit too. You know, like
what about all the people that are just selling drugs on the street in Melbourne?
Yeah, like.
What about all the crime gangs that, I'm not going to mention any particular races that have crime gangs, as there's quite a few out there, but like there's there's certain races there where there's massive crime gangs that come from different countries that are infiltrated in certain parts of Melbourne.
Bro, I'll give you an exact example. So Chris had his 488 parked, brand new, had 500 Ks on it, 488, that white Spider with the red trim.
Yeah.
Went for lunch, Toorak, middle of the day, weekday, 12 o'clock, went into a restaurant, heard a window smash, and then ran outside, and this kid had, two kids had like taken these duffel bags off his passenger seat, and they're like, I don't even know my brands, there's some hectic brand, like they were good bags. Anyway, the boys chased them, one got away, and then they grabbed one and pinned him down. And
Got done for assault.
Nah, cops rocked up and said, pretty much, like they waited for the cops. And then the cops rocked up and said, yeah, this is the case, blah, blah. What do you want to do? He's like 16, like, we can't really do anything. He's like, what do you mean? Like I just want my car fixed and like all this shit. And the cop goes, mate, I don't think you're struggling for money. Like if you're 21
it's not
and
the
you've
point.
got a car.
It's not the point.
He's like, are you fucking kidding? This kid just smashed my window in the middle of the day, stole, and
you're telling me it's because I've done well in life, or because I'm doing better than average, that I have to pay for my own shit to be repaired, even though all I've done is go out for a meal with my friend.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what the cop said. And he goes, look, we can charge him, but he's underage, and there won't be no charges, and he's not going to have money to fix it. So like, what do you really want to do? What do you want me to do, mate? Like, he just started being real rude.
Yeah.
Chris, like, fuck, just grabbed my bag, booked in Ferrari, like thousands of dollars for a new window, plus it like scratched all the brand new leather, so I had to trim this, like it was fucking heaps.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so you got these kids, why they're not going to stop doing it? They're going to keep smashing cars, stealing shit, because the kid was on the ground watching the cop say right in front of him, we can't do nothing.
Yeah,
so he's going to walk off and go, fuck, that's sick.
That's sick,
you know?
Yeah.
So you got this shit. He can't even get one little charge. Then you got my mate who's possibly done the tiniest like brake attraction from taking all the lights. 8 charges, 3 or 4 of them were criminal charges.
So it's not really congruent with the charges on what people are getting charged for and what they're not, is it?
Yeah, well, they're saying, it's because Hoons is taken so seriously. But I know heaps of people that are sick of the whole. They're the same group that's running through houses, taking people's cars, taking their keys. At night where they run through your house, just take your keys, take your car, all that. Like, that's a serious thing. So why is that not being like treated serious? And that whole like agenda, I can never get my head around it. I'm like, how can this shit happen? They don't care
in 2021,
and then this happens, and it's like the end of the world. Like, they're treating my mate like he's like stabbed someone 100 times and, or, you know, whatever. But yet these other people that are actually doing bad shit just couldn't even get a charge, couldn't even get $1 out of them, you know? So
it is such a mad state of events, and it's all down to the fact of like what people want to achieve within that police department at that particular time.
Yeah.
Like if they wanted to ticket more cars, they'll ticket more cars. If they wanted to, book more people for speeding, they'll book more people for speeding because they'd go looking for it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to stop gang violence, then and they put more effort on looking for gang violence, they'd find it.
Yeah.
But that you find in life whatever you look for, and they're looking for you guys to pin you on anything, and that's why they're finding you.
Yeah.
Because they just got a convenient excuse every time.
Yeah. And the shit when you deal with car people, for a cop, would be so much easier. They're going to pull over. Most of the time they're going to cop the fine. It's going to get paid in the next 30 days.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. Pulling over, some high-end criminals, they're going to get spat in the face, called a pig.
Yeah.
Heaps of court cases. All these younger dudes or whatever.
Yeah.
They're going to jump through hoops, not get nothing. So, like, why would you?
Yeah.
Why would you want to deal with that shit if you're a cop? It's so much easier. Just pick on a guy with a nice car. He's going to pay his fine. Send him on his way.
They can probably streamline the paperwork for certain things, and other things take more time and effort in their day as well. So they're probably breaking it down to make their life a lot easier. Yeah, it's kind of weird how the law puts in so many different protocols to make a copper's life hard as well. Like because for them to be able to, because their job is to protect the people. Yeah, not just to enforce law on the people, but to actually protect people with the force of the law.
Yeah.
So they're there to protect you. They're there to protect me. They're there to protect us from crime, as well as going out and booking. You know, they're not just there to go and raise revenue by booking a certain type of people for a certain type of problem that raises revenue for the police department.
Yeah,
which I think is what happens in Victoria. Like I think
Victoria's bad. I don't know why. It must be a different protocol.
I'll give you an example. I don't know if it was a police guy or whether it was a ticket guy, but my first time in Melbourne, I'm going to the Australian Open, right? I'm fucking young English lad. I'm just happy to be there, mate.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just happy to fucking be there. You've seen London, you've seen how fucked some places are, you've seen other parts of the UK. You know, I was just happy to be here, mate. I'm going to my first Australian Open. I'm getting the train there. And I put my feet up on the seat, right? Which in fucking London is like, okay, my fucking trainers are brand new, bro. I'm not gonna look. It's not like I'm going to fucking the Australian Open in a dirty pair of shoes.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm on my way in, and mate, I got a fucking fine on the train, and like I said to the bloke, he's talking to me about my feet on this. I'm like, mate, I just put my feet down. I'm sorry, mate. I didn't understand it was such an issue here. Like I'm like literally, I've only been in Australia 6 months. I'd never been to Melbourne, and he literally booked me, mate, like $80 or $100 or something at the time.
Yeah, and it's heaps money.
And I'm like $80 to $100 at the time is a lot of money to me. I'm fucking just come over here traveling. I've only come with $10,000.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? You're taking me $100 for having my feet on the seat. I know I shouldn't have had my feet on the seat. That's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is, he could have just said, "Hey, Frankie," well, not even my name. He could have said, "Hey, mate, just don't put your feet on the seat. If I see you doing that again, I'll book you."
Yeah,
sweet. That's fine. I could deal with that. Don't just book me straight away for when I'm fresh off the boat and don't even know nothing about your country. It's not like I'm trying to do it to disrespect you.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think we should move on to this topic because we could go on that for hours, couldn't we? But I want to dive into this ecom thing because going back to that, you said you'd got this clothing brand to 50k a month.
Yeah.
When was it like? Did you ramp that up again before you put the snorkels into it, or what was the protocol with that?
No, that was sort of cruising along, and then like I said, when I sort of worked out the snorkel, I only ordered I think I had to order fucking, I can't remember, might have been 500
pieces, yeah.
And I was like, oh fuck, this will just, who cares? It'll just be a bit of fun for me and the mates and just have a laugh. Didn't even care about making money off it. I was actually just trying to work out, can I at least just get my money back? And then I made the Troy Candy site, and I chucked them on there. And so I made it troycandy.com because it wasn't really appropriate for ECM. It just didn't fit. So I'm like, I'll just make a site called troycandy.com. And then, I think they sold out in a couple of hours because by this stage, I'd started making a pretty good following on Instagram. It's not a very big following, but it's very engaging.
Very engaged, yeah. You're at 100k, aren't you?
Yeah. Maybe even I don't know, 150 maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. That's a good following to have that are highly engaged like your audience. That's real good.
Well, I think I put say 500 on Shopify and I didn't even make a inventory count. And then I just literally put it on, I went to bed and I woke up, it was negative 300 or 400. I was like, what the fuck? How the fuck have they all gone out? And what the fuck am I going to do? I've just oversold 300 or 400 units.
Yeah.
And
what were you selling them at then? So you'd probably
$40 still.
So you've done a good revenue number on that, haven't you?
Yeah. And then me and the missus thought maybe we'll do 10 a day. And so we woke up and we had to pack 500 units the next day. And I didn't even have an automated print label thing. We're literally writing it, pack it. But it was fucked. We worked till 3 a.m. every night for a week. And then I had to contact all the people, say at error. And then everyone was, because at the start it was super close audience. So they were super understanding about nah, sweet, we'll wait for the next ones. Because I said, do you want me to send your money back? Nah. So I ordered 2,000, 2,500, whatever. And then I didn't even take into account that there was already 300 or 400 gone. And then that 2,000 went in the next 24 hours. And so then I ordered in 5,000. And after sending the first 500, I spoke to a friend that makes my merch. The guys at Australian Merch Co. said, can you help me fulfill shit? Like, they're like, yeah, sweet. So I just passed it on to them. They were picking and packing for me, and then it went from like 500 to 2,500 to 5,000, and then
How many units are you buying right now?
Usually just groups of 10,000, but I've just got them coming in like
Regularly.
They're made overseas, ready to go, and they're sending them as I need them.
Yeah.
But yeah, doing all new stuff like glow in the dark ones. I got like pocket ones, which like, you know, roll up. I got like all these like mad like new bottle openers hooked onto them, all new colours. Keep reinventing, because like obviously anything that gets a trend, like because I named it the Snorkel because of that William dude. That's what he called it when the drink went up vertical. So I'm like, because it goes up vertical, called Snorkel.
Did you trademark it all and all that kind of stuff?
No, so what happened is the company that made them just remade mine, and then actually on Alibaba named it Snorkel, and then sold them on there. So
and they're still doing that?
Yeah. Because the word snorkel is like, it's too generic. You can't do it. And then the patent I got, that I thought I got, was actually through the Chinese factory, so they owned it.
Oh, fucking
so
hell.
I've moved factories, got my own patent, everything's done properly now. But it's all just shit. You don't get taught this shit. Like when you just go head first. So then to stay on top of that, because I was like spinning out, because I was like talking to them like, they sent me all samples, and I'm like, I want to do a new colour, because I only did green at the start, and the girls wanted something, so I'm like, I wanted this pink. So I sat there for ages like picking pinks, got the pink, sent it back. They sent me some rubber dyed in it. I'm like, yep. Boom, yep, they made one, took a photo, sent it to me. Then bang, straight away my competitor's like, oh, we got pink coming soon, drop pre-order now. And I'm like, motherfuckers, they've literally just realised I've finished it, happy with it, and then obviously sent it to everyone else too, saying, hey, we got these coming out soon. Same with the double adapters, like got a 3D printed double adapter to join two together. And I'm like, this is fucked, I've got to get out of this factory. So yeah, that's why I moved and redid it all now. Like,
have you ever visited these factories where they get made?
No.
You never did, just done it all online?
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been good. I've got my own factory now. I've got my own patents. They got like, so you know, you can only get glow in the dark ones from me. You can only get my colours from me. You can only get
and those patents you've said are registered in China to stop the Chinese copying them, are they?
Yeah.
Or a global patent?
Yeah. So the first ones I actually got it patented, but in their name, sort of thing. Like,
fucking.
So I'm like,
bastards.
oh yeah, sick, it's patent. But
yeah.
didn't know fuck all about it. So big, huge fucking learning experience. Like, I probably. And because, like, my stock...
So if anyone else sells a glow-in-the-dark snorkel in this country, you could shut them down, is what you're saying?
I could shut the factory down to, like, wherever they were getting it made, you know what I mean?
Yeah, perfect.
But, yeah, in saying that, like, because I kept underestimating myself how much I'll sell. I should have been, like, ordering triple. But, so while I was out of stock, even my mates, like, because they were using, like, home brand ones.
Yeah,
and I'd comment on like, fucking, as if
snake,
snake, and then they'd be like, bro, you haven't had any like in a week, so like, of course I'd buy yours, but we just want one for a party, and this and that. Like mates will message me like, hey bro, have you got anything? I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, I'm just gonna order some off this site. I'm like, yeah, that's fair enough. And like, I was just like, fuck, like I was missing out like
on so much.
Yeah, probably like, there's probably like, would have cost me maybe $1 million. In
loss of revenue, because of the stealing and because of how much, and that's just what you think. It's probably even more than that when you only actually go into it. Like it's what you don't know that costs you revenue, not what you do know.
Yeah, but like in saying that, all the competitors use like heaps of paid advertising because it comes up to me, whereas I've only just started now. I had such a warm audience that I've never used it.
Yeah,
so like a lot of the people that are selling them have probably reached people that didn't know me anyway.
Yeah.
Because they're just doing like full blown campaigns, paid marketing.
So you're now reaching out to, you can actually market against these pages as well now.
Yeah.
And put the real genuine article in front of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, just the only thing that annoyed me was like, cause everyone's always going to copy a product or do, you know, you want to sell an A-frame, I'll make an A-frame.
Yeah.
You know, like you want to sell these shoes, I'll make some shoes. But when I went onto Alibaba and saw it called Snorkel, and then everyone else's shops were like snorkelshop.com or shop snorkels or
yeah.
I'm like, that's the fucking word I used because I got it off William. Like there was no such thing. It was called like a beer bong or a beer funnel.
Yeah.
I was just like, fuck, at least like call it something else. But because everyone was doing the snorkel and talking about the word snorkel, and then because it went in the papers like when we were snorkeling and shit.
Yeah.
That word like, and then I couldn't trademark it, and that's what was the biggest thing because I was like, fuck, like everyone's always.
I don't think you would have been able to trademark snorkel anyway, predicated on the fact it's such a.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you can go snorkeling in the water. You can go, you know, so many different snorkeling.
What did you get the trademark for in the end then?
So like TroyCandy.com, anything Troy Candy.
Oh, like just the Troy Candy brand associated with the snorkel.
Yeah, and then I got my paint on my own one. So my ones with the bottle openers, my own colours. So anything new I make from now on.
Yeah, 100%.
They were making like double adapters and bang, I'll see all the double adapters going. Fuck, what the fuck,
bastard.
So that's like big lesson learned, and you know, I mean, it's just.
Have you even thought about selling them into the international market yet, or are you just selling them in Australia?
Yeah, we've got Amazon going live. So that's mainly for the US.
Yeah.
And we've got some new products coming out that'll be big in the US.
Because I was reading your journey the other day on that you put out in your story, and you said, and you're saying something along the lines of, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but you're saying that like, you know, it's amazing how far I've come in like the last 10 years or something like that, because you posted a screenshot where you'd made 1.7 million out of these snorkels.
Yeah.
In sales, not pure profit, obviously, but in sales you did 1.7 million. How in how long?
I think it was like 14 months or something.
14 months, 1.7 million on snorkels and some clothing in there as well. But like that, it was mad to you how you'd done that when your shops, when that was like nearly what the shops did as well, wasn't it? Yeah,
well, like obviously the shop in 8 years could be, fuck knows, like say $1 million a year, could be 8 million, but the profit that I got I'd literally got more profit in 12 months than 8 years. And the snorkels so easy or automated, 8 years of slaving away, massive weeks. The shit I went through was fucked. Like I've been through like just the worst shit at work, like getting robbed, getting like working till midnight and pulling out of my street, getting T-boned by a drunk driver in a stolen car.
Fucking hell.
Then that car I was driving wasn't insured, so that was like a brand new car. I was like paying that off for ages, like literally the worst shit. And I'm like, how the fuck I just made these snorkels and literally been able to make more than I have from fucking 8 years of slaving away.
But it's all that compounded interest you'd earned through working all them years and building up your brand that allowed you to sell the snorkel. Yeah,
I couldn't have had a following on Troy Candy if I didn't have ECM, because people were following me because they were into cars and they were curious how I started the business. And then the clothing brand gave me a bit of knowledge to start like the e-com, and that whole 8 years, I don't look at it like, oh, that was a waste, I should have been doing this.
Yeah.
I look at it like that's what made me be able to do that.
Because like you say, that 14 months and these snorkels that are going to blow up and continue to blow up, you'll probably make another $5 million out of this, probably more.
Yeah,
right. But at the end of the day, you've had to give yourself the ability to have the platform to sell that stuff.
Yeah.
And you would never have done that unless you'd done what you were passionate about in the first place, which is obviously cars and obviously just tinkering around. So the whole journey itself has been quite fantastic for you, because like it wouldn't have happened any other way.
Yeah.
You couldn't just pull a snorkel. Like if I'd created the snorkel, right? I don't even fucking drink, but say I create the snorkel tomorrow, I wouldn't sell 5 of them.
Yeah.
Because I just don't have the branding to be able to that doesn't fit with me. So I wouldn't be able to fucking sell 5 of them.
Yeah. And even like, because I had followers, they're like, oh, you didn't think of this, blah, blah, blah. And then they send me a link to, there was one called the Knockout. And I didn't even know, like I'd never seen the Knockout, but it was actually like just for smoking weed. And that was around like, fuck, like I looked it up. It was like not 1 or 2 months or 1 or 2 years. It was like maybe 5 or 6 years before me.
Yeah.
Never even heard of it. Never even fucking heard of it. So it just shows like the whole thing is about like your following.
Yeah.
How you market it.
How engaged they are.
I called it the Snorkel. I got like all my friends. We went to Bali. We were doing it there. Like we were like doing it at main stages at music festivals and events. And then people started like trying to do the crazy snorkel. So it was dudes like doing monos on bikes, doing a snorkel or doing a skid.
Who was the first celebrity that you see doing a snorkel?
Don't know, like I always got like surprised where someone sends me a video. I'm like, what the fuck? That's sick. And like, Sparksy like got up at like, did one on like, fuck, I think it was New Year's or something. It was some huge festival. It's halfway through his set, just got up, did a snorkel and, you know, shit like that. People like,
yeah, because he's a Melbourne boy, isn't he?
Yeah, it's like, Sparks, it just all fits the brand and everything. So like, yeah, just, and then the best thing was about this brand is like, I look at different brands and its marketing can be hard to easy.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. Say you paint walls for a job. If you try and like post that on your social media and try and get it to go viral, you're going to find it extremely hard because not everyone wants to share a picture of a wall and say how cool is this, unless it's like hectic. Like
unless you're Banksy.
Yeah. And then you got like the cars, like ECM, that was a bit cool. That was a bit easier because I could do up a sick car, and whether you liked eye candy or not, you might have even hated me or my shop, but you might have liked that car and you'd still share and go, fuck, how sick's this Merc look? So people were sharing it for me without having to like try and say, guys, can you please share my business? People were just sharing it because they like the car or whatever. And then you got snorkels where not only was everyone else sharing it for me, they were making my content for me. I didn't even have to get photos or videos.
Yeah, because you got it all. Yeah.
People doing the craziest shit that I couldn't have even planned. I've seen the fucking gnarliest shit I can't even post. Like Bucks parties.
Can you tell us some of these ones that you couldn't post?
Like
tell me the fucking, like the one that comes to the top of your head now, the best ever snorkel you've seen.
Fuck, I don't know. It depends because there's this one guy, as in best snorkeler, like he literally downs him in like half a second, like literally, but before it's even gone up, it's empty. And then he did a bottle of Absolute vodka. He cracks it like because it had the plastic on it, ripped the plastic off. Did a bottle of Absolute vodka, big one, in like quicker than I can do a cruiser. Did a bottle of Fireball. He always sends me videos, like just insane. But then like I've seen some gnarly shit like this one kid, and he ended up on the news. He was on a dirt bike doing a mono down the road and then snorkeling one-handed. This other bloke on like a V-rod is doing a power skid, and this car pulls up and passes him a snorkel, and he does it like mid-skid on the Harley. Like I've got like dudes doing like backflips on shit, like snorkel, like it's fucking nuts.
Especially them Nitros boys. Yeah, Nitro Circus.
Yeah, and then I got like just heaps of just fucking the uses I've seen for snorkels, like people like sending me a video, like I don't know what you can say on here.
Yeah, mate. You say what you like.
Literally, like just getting coke and blowing it up stripper's ass, then put it on and like doing it, and like you know, like had like these girls like holding it between their tits and hanging upside down, and dudes doing it. And I get sent like just
like strippers doing it on the pole, probably.
Yeah, just like heaps of fucking random shit.
But that all fits in with your whole brand and everything that you're doing. So it kind of works for you, doesn't it? It kind of really
people
helps.
People make my content like.
And that stuff you can plug in and share in your premium portal, and then you've got user created content, and it's relevant to your audience, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And then people got the whole thing like where obviously the better snorkel they do and tag me, the more chance I'm going to share it. So like it makes it more interactive, like and fun to. I'm going to buy a snorkel and I'm going to do this, and I'll try and get on the story. You know, so it's like gives them a bit more fun, not just the product.
Yeah, it's so interactive.
Yeah.
And that's what they're not getting with snorkel.com or hotsnorkels.com or whatever. You can't get that that's why people will always buy into the brand, because you are the original.
Yeah.
They don't want the generic snorkel. And even if they have the generic snorkel and they're snorkeling, they're still going to tag you in the
Yeah,
content.
I get tagged all the time. I'm like, bro, I don't make, like, I don't know, say it's a fucking brown snorkel.
Yeah,
They're like, hey, bro, share this. I'm like, bro, I don't have brown snorkels. That's not my product. And they're like, oh, are you serious? Like,
Yeah. Buy my product here, and then I'll share that next video.
Yeah,
it's like it's such an easy sale for you.
Yeah, and even like, so I had like some meetings because we got massive distributors. Like we got heaps of people selling like bottle shops.
Yeah, because you've got Thirsty Camel on it.
Yeah, all the like heaps of bottle shops. We got like Free Choice. Got like the sex shops. Like all the sex shops now sell them. And I had a meeting with like some of the, so like say a lot of the bottle shops will order from one distributor, and a lot of the sex shops order from one distributor.
So you just pumping it into the distributors.
Yeah, and then when I've had the meetings with them, they say the same thing. They're like, they'll print off ones off eBay or fucking whatever. I'm like, all right, well, why you're trying to charge me X amount? Why don't I just buy this? I'm like, because I show them like my insights and shit. I'm like, I'm going to be posting saying, guys, like, snorkels.
Go to Thirsty Camel in wherever and go and get the snorkels because they got 50 in stock.
Yeah,
and you're going to sell out.
Yeah, and it literally happened as soon as like Thirsty Camel got them, and like a few other guys, they were like literally blown away. They were ringing me like, "Can you get me more ASAP? Like drive it down here."
Not only that, if you own that bottle shop or I don't know if it's a chain or whatever, but if you own that particular shop and you can get on your story where you got high engagement and you can get your brand shared as well, they're going to get followers as well as selling the snorkels that they've got in stock. So it's like a double win, and they're not had to pay for the post.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's actually such a great business model.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you want to spend $20 on a snorkel rather than $10 off this Chinese snorkel that you don't even know where it's come from with no branding on it?
Yeah.
So it does make a hell of a difference.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, you get some people like haters, they'll message you, oh, your shit's from China anyway. You've just put your name on, you've just put your brand on it and trying to charge more. And you can't even have a conversation with them people because you're like, you know, this is why I've worked so hard for the last 8 years, because so I can put my name on it and charge more. I can.
That's the whole point.
Interact with my following.
iPhones are made in China.
Yeah,
but they could make an exact same iPhone next door that doesn't have Apple on it. Right? It's not the fucking point, is it? The point of the matter is that you're buying into the brand, the ethos of the brand that's built. You know that's just the way branding works. That's why you've branded the name. Yeah. That's why you've done it.
It'd literally be like messaging Nike and saying, "You guys are dogs. I can get the same black T-shirt made for $3 and you want $80." And Nike's just gonna go, cool, go get it.
Yeah, you're not our customer.
Yeah,
and that's fine as well, because not everyone is going to be your customer.
Yeah, no.
You only want people that are going to rep your brand. But I'm telling you now, like when that gets to America and people start doing it at spring break and like Coachella when it comes back and all these kind of festivals, you're going to have you know how you said before when you're talking about rapping that it got to Australia 4 years after it was there. That's going a year from now, it's going to hit America in a big way.
Well, Australia's probably like, every time I hang out with all my international mates and I go traveling and I party, and that's the one thing they always say, like, fuck, Aussies drink. Like, Aussie, it's just like a drinking thing. Like, you know.
I thought people in England drank, but I actually reckon Aussies drink way more because of the weather. Yeah.
And I remember like going to a party when I was 16, and you and a mate, it would be normal to go to a mate, do you want to go halves in a slab of like UDLs, or do you want to go halves in a slab of cruisers? And like now I'm like older and I think about it, I'm like, that's fucking 12 drinks at like, that's way too much, but it was so normal. Like you just find a mate that wants to drink what you drink and you just go halves in the slab.
So when I was in the trade, as a shop fitter and that, the lads used to finish a 12-hour shift, right? They'd go to the bottle shop, they'd buy a slab, they'd have like, they call them roadies here. I don't know, it's not legal to do this in England, but apparently it's legal to do it here, where you can drive and have a beer as you drive it.
Yeah, as long as you're under 2 standard drinks.
Yeah. Well, like sometimes we'd travel like 2 hours from outside of like Melbourne or Sydney to the right in the city centre where we're fitting out a shop, right?
Yeah,
we'd staying like 1 or 2 hours away, because that's just how these shopping firms work. They want the cheap accommodation, but they also want you on there for 12 hours, right? So these boys, mate, honestly, these boys would fucking do like four fucking beers on the way home, and then drink the rest of the slab that night, go to sleep for like 4 or 5 hours, and then work a 12-hour shift with fucking power saws and all this shit going on that we have to do. And we're pumping because we're putting out shops here like Zara's, Louis Vuittons, Hermes, all this fucking high quality stores, Gucci's. Yeah, we're doing all these high quality, and there's people with fucking power saws. I've fucking seen people seriously injure themselves.
Yeah,
because all they do is
they're
fucking they do 12-hour days for like 6 weeks straight, 7 days a week, and they drink beer. That's all they do.
Yeah, and they just fucking
turn up the next day. They're fucking pissed, and that to me is like it's a very much tradey culture, very much Australian kind of culture.
Yeah,
especially in the driving thing as well, which you're involved in.
Yeah, well, I mostly launched the snorkels pretty much properly on Australia Day, and in saying that. So Australia Day was the biggest day ever. So it would have been, so the first Australia Day was the first time I just posted the snorkeling, like without the snorkel, just the drink, and saying, hey guys, this William dude's doing it, like it's funny as fuck, give it a shot sort of thing. And then the next, what time, the Australia Day, so that must have been 3 months since I actually brought out, 2 months since I brought out the physical product.
Yeah.
That Australia Day we did like 40 something grand in on the day. I remember my Shopify, like we were sitting around my mates.
And you still had notifications on.
Yeah, and it was just going boom, 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 boom. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, nah.
So have you done a Black Friday with this as well?
Nah, not really.
So I reckon you do this snorkel thing on Black Friday. I reckon that's because like you look at what people like Gymshark do on a Black Friday.
Yeah. Yeah, if you did like something big, like a big discount, posted it.
Yeah, do like a limited edition one where you got like 50,000 pieces on a Black Friday and they're like fucking $99 each. You're going to sell them out, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like you got the brand in there to do it now.
Yeah.
So, and I just want to get this in right before we go because obviously I think it's very fucking important. But how much like support has Anita given you through this process? Like, because obviously you're always saying how much you're punching.
Yeah.
Like how did you obviously meet her and get involved with her, and obviously like how much effect has she had on your life?
Yeah, so I just met her through mutual friends. So like my mate was seeing her mate, sort of thing. Yeah, it's like a pretty standard, like, oi, fucking hook us up with one of your missus' friends.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we just went out to Chapel Street, and then just went to a bar, and then just ended up just getting along mad. Had a mad night, and then I actually came out of like a real bad breakup. So even though she was super cool,
you were pretty
fucked
like
her around for ages. Fuck, I think it was maybe a year. I was like seeing her, but not just her. Like she knew. And then she got to the point. She's like,
she called you. She's like,
I'm either fucking going this way or you got to pull your head in. And I remember I was just like, fuck. I'm like, I never want to get a missus again, but I can't fault her. And I don't want to kick myself later. So
I think when you find the right woman, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like I like that. My mum and dad have been married like 40 odd years.
100%.
I don't know about yours, but like
it's like it's just when you get a bad breakup, it's just it's like,
mate, trust me, I've had two.
Yeah,
like,
and it's like sunk in your brain.
And it's
I hate women.
No, it's not. Yeah, it was. I literally, and it took me like 2.5, 3 years into my Australian lifestyle, and I've been in like 7 years now to get over the hating women bit.
Yeah,
because you do go through.
Well, not hating women, hating relationships.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Though, but like, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like the fucking like not wanting to go near them in terms of like anything more than just like hook up kind of thing.
But then I was like, oh fuck it, like I didn't want to kick myself later, so sort of got with her, and then she's been awesome. I often think like if I was with someone else, it wouldn't have worked now because she knew I did big hours at work, like when we met in like 2015, 16, whatever it was.
So she's been there she's been there for a lot of the rise then, to be honest.
Oh, definitely. When I was like full hands on tools, like getting home at 8 o'clock every night, leaving, I'd get home and she's asleep and I wake up, she's asleep sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I like told her when we were hanging out as mates, like, and then when we talked about it, I said, look, just letting you know, like, I'm always working, and when I'm not, I'm with the boys sort of thing. But she was cool because she had like, that's what I found was good. She had her own life, own friends, own jobs, own shit. So like, it just sort of worked really easy. Like she wasn't just sitting at home bored messaging me going, where are you? What are you doing? Like she was busy too. So I think that worked awesome for us. And then it sort of just moved into like when Troy Candy started, obviously like partying and content, it's mad to have like, you know, like in heaps of our videos, it's just like strippers and shit around or just chicks wearing like not much at all and shit like that. And we've got like heaps of communication and trust, and she understands like it's all part of the brand. There's no jealousy, no can't do this or can't do that. I'm like, babe, I've got to go to Vegas and do this. And one time I gave her like 2 days or a day's notice that I was going to Vegas for 10 days. And she's like, yeah, sweet. Like, just because we've got so much, like, we're very open with each other and stuff. And there's like lots of communication. And she's really helped me stay grounded, but at the same time, be able to go do what I want. She's not holding me back. So she keeps me grounded. He's in like,
and she's like a support.
I don't want to fuck up and do dumb shit because I don't want to disappoint her. But at the same time, she's never says like, no, you can't do this, or you're not going with the boys there, or why is all these girls in this photo, or like, she understands like why and what it's for and stuff. So yeah, she's definitely helped and been like a supporter through it. And every idea I've said, like, I'll just randomly just be in the shower thinking about it. She's like, "Oi, babe, I should do this," and she'll be like, "Yeah, do it.
Yeah,
like,
try it."
Never ever said that's stupid, or you know, like one of my biggest things when I first started. So before I had TroyCandy.com, the actual reason I had the website there for the snorkels ready, it wasn't for the snorkels. I did this thing where I made these like ECM keychains.
Yeah. And
I said, anyone who buys one, I'm going to pick one at someone's Shopify number and take them to Bali. 10 people actually.
Yeah.
That was my first like little competition. So I made TroyCandy.com and I said, babe, I want to like make these like keychains, people enter. And I was like really doubting myself. I'm like, could be cool, but like, imagine I don't sell any, then I have to fork out 10 people's holidays, villas, flights.
Yeah. You're doubting yourself.
Yeah, and she was like, nah, like, look how many, you know, everyone's always like wants to come party with you, do it, blah, blah. And the first one, like, that was when I opened the site, like, didn't make money off it, but didn't go backwards. Just like broke even, mad content, launched the website.
Yeah.
Took like 10 people to Bali, like, stayed in this insane villa. It was like 20 grand for 4 nights. I slept like 18 people. Had like the loosest fucking four nights or whatever, five nights. Everything, but like that idea was so far-fetched to me that I was sort of like asking her almost for reassurance. I was so on the edge that like if she said, nah, it's a shit idea, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
So like she's always like supported everything I do and stuff like that, and that's helped heaps. Plus when you're single, you fucking, I waste so much time. Like
you
just get sidetracked. Or like,
it's because like you just might, your mind when you're in that single game is too open to every opportunity that's available to you. And one thing that I've learned through my life is that there'll always be someone beautiful there. Like there's always someone beautiful. Yeah. Like even if you've got the most beautiful thing in the room, there's always going to be something else beautiful. Yeah. Like you can't just go on that anymore. Yeah. Like you get to a certain age, you're like, fucking hell, this is a bit tedious now. It's like going around in circles like a hamster.
Yeah. Yeah. You need that. It just becomes more where you just, you want that like good partnership there.
And you vibe it.
And you come home like, babe, guess what? We got that deal. We got this. That's what the sharing everything around. And I've had that with it. Like you've always got your friends and shit and your family. But that's what I love, like, babe, if this goes through, you know, we can get you that, like, new car, or, you know, if we start talking about, like, when we wanted the house, I'm like, we're going to need to do this, we're going to need to set up this, and like, I probably would have been a lot less go if I didn't have, like, this, like, I want this, like, good life with my missus, nice house, raise the kid right, do all that.
Yeah.
I would have just been, like, a bit more like, let's party. If I can sell some snorkels, I'll sell some snorkels. But then she's been like not only a supporter in that, but she's been a reason to really like
to really in it and really push hard.
Yeah, and like she's same for me. She runs like all the ECM label. She does all like the Instagram and checking over everything and new designs, and you know, sending shit out to people, messaging them.
Because she's seen the growth, she's really like in love and involved in your brand. Do you know what I mean? Like she's in it because she's been in it since 2014.
As soon as I wear like another brand t-shirt, she won't even let me leave the house. Like she'll fucking put ECM on. I like this t-shirt. She's like, get it off. We're not going out to change. Like she's like, you know, because
they want you. I noticed when you turned up today, you're like full ECM. Aren't you? ECM,
shorts.
Yeah, and I get it because it's like it's all branding, and it's all branding. Like when this goes on YouTube, like you'll see it, like, and we'll put links and all that in the description so that people can go on your website and see your stuff and see the snorkels and all that stuff. And I'll even put some. I might even do something nice with the thumbnail so we can show a snorkel in the thumbnail, something like that. But one thing I wanted to ask you before we leave this podcast today is like, there's obviously a lot of people that look up to you. In your followership, what is like the one? If you like had to leave the world today and you're checking out and you had nothing else left to do, what is the one bit of advice you'd give to people that wanted to like obviously aspire to do what you've done in e-com or with cars or with anything else? Like, what was the one golden nugget of information you'd give them?
No matter what it is, like e-com or whatever, I think a huge thing, you got to find your passion, because it sounds so corny and you always hear it. But honestly, like, I wouldn't have stuck it out with the bullshit I dealt with through the cars if it wasn't my passion. Like, when times were tough, getting robbed or getting this or having no money or no work or stressing, I would have just called it quits and do something else. Same as the snorkels. Like, not to say my passion is drinking, but I definitely love partying, making people laugh, having a good time.
Yeah.
And if I just looked at snorkels to possibly make money, I wouldn't have done it because I just didn't know about it, didn't think they'd take off. Couldn't give a fuck. I literally only did it so I could like get these in and rock up to the party of the boys and go, oi.
And it'd be the new thing for Toy Candy.
Oi, let's fucking do these. Like, it was more about me and my mates and shit. Like, oi, I got, like, now we can have proper snorkels. So it's all passion things. I think as soon as you're finding, like, trying to chase the money, it's like, you know, just finding the pot of gold at Rainbow. Like, you're running around, oh, this guy's making mad money on Bitcoin. I'm going to like jump in and do that. Oh, this guy's doing the stock market. Actually, I'll do that. Oh, no, this guy does up like cars. Bro, my mate kills it doing pipelines. You should get a job with Telstra. And you're just like going boom, 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 boom. Whereas if you actually just focused on to whatever you like doing, the money will just come because you're so passionate about it that like, that's why my snorkels are good, because I'm not just buying and selling e-commerce, no branding. I'm out partying every weekend doing them. Well, fuck, these drip a bit, so I change them, make ones that don't drip. Oh, this is so annoying. I had a satchel. I couldn't fit them in my satchel.
You live your products.
Yeah, let's make ones where you can roll them up in a ball, put them in your satchel. So music festivals, all that. So I made the pocket snorkel. They went like nuts. We sold more of them than
snorkel,
the original one. Because I'm passionate about it, everything's working the way, you know, imagine if I had eye candy and I didn't like cars, I wouldn't have done up cars.
Yeah.
And everyone sees all my cars crazy, like bright blue, pink, green, slam, big wheels, crazy interiors. I sell probably more off my cars than like anything else. Like, people see my cars and go, can you do those colour or those wheels, that? And it's all comes down to passion. I wouldn't have my done up cars if I wasn't passionate about it, because I just wouldn't care. I'd go open the shop and then just whatever, how it is, and then I'd hop back in my fucking whatever I drive, my Volkswagen stock car, and go home. But like, people see like, you know, all of that, and then they're like, fuck, I want what he's got, I want this, same as the partying. I can actually really work in with my
just all works in with who Troy is as a person.
Yeah, and it's because I'm gonna drive this done up car whether it's my business or not. So I would do a snorkel whether it was my business or not. I'm loving it, I'm living it, and shit like that. And I think people just lose that like passion and that love. And then the hardest thing is they go, oh, I don't know what I'm passionate about, or I'm passionate about dogs. How can I make money doing dogs? That's just stupid. But like, then you'll like think like, fuck, like a mate imported some dog collars and then custom leads, and then before you know it, they got this huge e-com store selling like really mad dog leads, and they only thought about them because they love dogs so much that they're like, man, I walk my dog all the time and it doesn't have like this on it. I'm going to add this on, and like, you never see someone make bank off like something that they're not passionate about it. Like, they'll make money because they're smart and they know how to e-com and shit. But I think like the real thing is when you're enjoying it, you're loving it, you're passionate about it, you make the better product, the better marketing,
Well, not only that, you've just told me how many times you've changed the product and changed the design of the product to make it even better because of your experience using it at your own fucking parties, your own events, and your mates using it.
Yeah.
So it's not like you've just made one snorkel and then just you've just dined out on it. It's like you're always iterating on the product. So the Troy Candy brand, the snorkels, will still be going in like 3 or 4 years time.
Yeah.
With other products in the line of Troy Candy because of the fact you're
just keeps adding on
because you're like, fuck, what if I do this and I create this, and what if I create like a fucking like a beer super soaker or something? I don't know, like whatever pops in your head. But you've now got the brand that it all
folds off the back, and even like the party outfits. I don't know if you've seen where they like got patterns on them. I used to just go out and get so blind that I'd spill shit all over myself, and everyone would just give me shit like, bro, you like. So I'm like, fuck it. I started like wearing matching top and bottom full floral shit, and you couldn't tell when I spilled shit all over me.
Yeah.
And then I just did it just because of that, but then everyone started wearing it, and I'm like, fuck, why don't I make my own brand?
Yeah.
To do
so
that
you're doing that now?
Yeah, I've got like heaps of party outfits. Like you go on the website and there's like all these matching top and bottom floral, mad for bucks, work breakups, fucking whatever. Glow in the dark thing, like literally we were just fucking blind like one night at my house, and everyone was like, where the fuck's the snorkel? I don't know. It was like just dark. And so I was like, why can't you make it glow in the dark? And I'm like, fuck, let's do it. Like, I'm not sitting there like, how can I make more money? Sales are dipping in this, blah, blah. I'm like, I literally just love it. And I'm like, fuck, let's do that. Let's do this.
And I even talking to you about this and talking about this whole journey, I can vibe your energy from the fact that you're doing something you're fucking passionate about.
Yeah.
Like, you're not passionate about the police getting involved in certain things and obviously trying to cripple you that way. But like, in terms of like everything branding wise and what you've created with the Troy Candy brand, it's like everything you're doing is just because you and your mates vibe it.
Yeah.
It's not forced. It's like you say, the glow in the dark snorkel's a prime example of that. Like, you're in the kitchen, it's fucking 3 a.m, you can't see the snorkel, make it glow in the dark. I love that shit. I fucking love that.
Yeah.
Fair play to you, mate. Fair play.
No, thanks, bro.
To build a multi-million-dollar brand off the back of doing something you would do anyway.
Yeah.
Is just fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And that's what I want everyone to get out of this podcast today. It's the fact that you've built this and everything that you do on the back of every lifestyle thing that you do. So whether it's drifting, you do the drift products. Whether it's you wrap your car, now you wrap other people's cars. You do snorkels, now everyone does snorkels.
Yeah.
You wear your own clothing, now everyone wears your own clothing. You've got a sticker on your car, now other people have got a sticker on their car. Like, you do it first, and then if everyone who follows you and likes your brand likes it, then they do it too, and then you've got a business model. It's a great way of testing product.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. When I do something, people aren't like, there's a secret catch, something shady, he's just posting that for money. People don't see that in me. They're like, if they see me doing something, same as it when companies will offer me like big money to post their shit, and if I like don't fuck with it, I'm like, sorry, I appreciate the offer, that's a lot of money, I love it, but like, I'm not gonna tell people to do that. Like,
100%.
Even like, I don't know, fucking nicotine products, stuff like that. I'm like, I don't smoke. Like I'll post vapes and shit because I actually vape, but I just stay, or like fucking protein shit, whatever. Like, you're not the gym guy.
Yeah. So why would you put that in your brand? Like me, I go to the gym every day, so I could do a protein.
Yeah.
Like, I could be sponsored by protein. I could be sponsored by someone like maybe Gymshark or LSKD or someone like that, because obviously that's the kind of stuff that I wear, right?
Yeah.
But there was a clothing brand that DM'd me the other day and was like, first he said to me, we'll send you it and you wear it, and if you wear it, you post it. I'm like, first thing is like, don't really dictate to me what I'm doing, because I don't even know if I like it yet, so I don't even know if I'll wear it. And second thing is like, we'll pay you, and I'm like, but I don't know, I don't really vibe your type of clothing. I'm a white European guy, and that's like, that kind of clothing is like what my black mates in London would wear.
Yeah.
So it's not really, doesn't suit my style. I'm fitted. This is fucking baggy, like Afro-Caribbean wear. Like, I'm not gonna. It doesn't even go with me.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not going to take your money just for the sake of making a bit of.
Yeah, and people can see that, because when you start taking the money and doing everything, people go, "Fuck, this guy will post anything."
Yeah. And that is one of the problems with this influencer industry, is the fact that I'm not saying that you're an influencer, but you have influence.
Yeah.
And you've created a brand off it. But that's what's the problem with the influencer industry. You'll see one girl wearing Mona bikini one day, and then she's wearing some other bikini next day, and it's just
she's going for the short term thing, but all you do is just end up losing like credibility, if you want to open your own brand, no one's going to stick by it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, people know when I post something, they're like,
It's legit.
he loves this, you know?
Mate, honestly, like your story, mate, is very inspiring. Shake my hand. Thank you so
Thanks,
much for
bro.
your time on the podcast today, guys. If you want to follow Troy, it's Troy Candy on Instagram.
Yep.
At Troy Candy. I'll put if you want to follow me, it's at Frankie Lee. If you're not already following me, you probably fucking already are. You should be. If you like this, share it with your friends, and obviously just drop Troy a message, drop me a message. Let us know what you think of this podcast and sharing his journey, because I'm buzzed about it. And also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put links in the bio of this podcast and YouTube and that to all of Troy's brands, so you can check them out. Check out the snorkels, check out the ECM clothing, check out the workshops and that, wherever you want to get stuff done. Really fucking appreciate your time listening, guys, and much love.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Frankie Lee Podcast.